So what is wrong with the traditional system? I have three major criticisms of it, and I believe these are really sort of built-in design flaws that can't be overcome through any amount of training. The first is how long each evaluation takes. Done right, the traditional system involves a pre-observation conference, a full lesson observation with extensive note-taking, then a write-up or a scoring on a rubric, and then a post-observation conference, really 4 hours if it's done right. And that's a lot of time, which means that it's going to happen very infrequently, perhaps once or twice a year. Second design flaw is that because of the pre-observation conference, in most cases, the observation is announced in advance, which means that the teacher, being a normal human being, is going to put on the best possible show. It's just, it's a natural thing. Of course, you would put some extra effort into this, what is sometimes called the dog and pony show. And that means that the principal is seeing, or the assistant principal or department head is seeing, not typical daily performance, but atypical optimal performance, which is lovely for the teacher if it goes well. It's very nervous making because you got to get ready for it. And if it goes poorly, then that's your big chance. But it doesn't tell the principal the most important thing, which is what's happening on a daily basis, because that, of course, is what drives student achievement and everything else. And then the third criticism I have, the third design flaw, is that if the principal does it well, the administrator does the job well, they're going to be providing an overwhelming amount of feedback. And no athletic coach would work that way. No driver ed teacher would work that way. It's simply not the way you coach somebody, is to give them a huge amount of information once a year. So those are the design flaws. And that means that it's really not going to be productive. And indeed, if you look at the research, as I have over the last 40 years on effective schools, you never, ever see teacher evaluation mentioned as one of the key drivers of school improvement. And that's because it is basically inert. It's not really helping. A principal in Long Island said to me a few years ago, every time I do an evaluation, it takes me out of the game for 4 hours. So he had the right idea. So here's sort of a graphic way of looking at this. There's a fork in the road that administrators have to take. Are they going to take the left fork, which is evidence, evaluation, and compliance, basically kind of a bureaucratic process? Or can we somehow figure out to take the right fork, which is actually using this process to improve teaching and learning? And given a choice, Robert Marzano talks about this frequently, given a choice, everyone wants to take the right fork. Everyone wants to be improving teaching and learning. But the way the process has been implemented over these 50 years, it's largely the left fork. It's largely evidence, evaluation, compliance. I was with someone a couple of weeks ago up in Maine who said, he literally says to teachers, look, this is a waste of time. I know this is a waste of time. Let's just get it over with. So and one of the most damning pieces of research on this was the widget effect study done a few years ago by the New Teacher Project that showed in Chicago at this point, this 5-year period from 2003 to 2008, look at the ratings of teachers in the Chicago public schools on a 4-point scale. Now, I have to tell you, I've been in a lot of Chicago schools in my coaching work 15 years ago, and this is not accurate. So how could this happen? How could you have this skewed statistical picture here? It's because, of course, people are putting on their best show, and principals are perhaps avoiding difficult conversations and giving these excellent ratings. Here's Elgin, Illinois, with the 3-point evaluation scale, similar distortion. And here's Denver, which at that point had a 2-point evaluation score, again, similar distortion. Very, very few teachers being negatively evaluated. Now, I'm not saying there are a lot that are horrible. I think there are very few really bad teachers in the business, but these stats are just way, way off. So that's what's wrong with the traditional system. So let's